Am I coming in? Can you hear me?
Welcome to the NFL Predictive Playbook Show. We hope that Dr. Chuck will be able to. We'll take care of his technical difficulty. We take care of everybody's difficulty. We take care of people's difficulty making winning bets, even. But not every week. But most of the time, we're pretty damn good at what we do. So we're going to get right out of here in week 10. Double digits now. Week 10 action in the NFL. It is coming down to the wire. We have a AFC West where everybody has 5 wins. That's going to be exciting to see down the stretch. But the game that Jesse wants to talk about is a 1 o'clock game on CBS. The Saints, 5-3, 3-1 away, are playing those Titans. That just I am no longer in denial. I will stop playing against them. I will not play on them because I want everybody else that's playing on them to win. Just kidding around. But seriously, the Titans are really, really playing some great football. 7-2, 3-1 home. Tennessee is -3 only. That's puzzling. Over under 44.5. I would think a public bettor would think that the Titans ought to be favored by about 10. Take it away, Jesse, and tell us where the best bet is in this matchup this week.
Well, you got that right, John. Everybody likes the Titans after they've won those big three in a row there. And I wouldn't be surprised if this line does move to 3.5. And, I'm going to take the Saints. I'm going to point out that as well as the Titans has played, as good as they look, Carson Wentz handed them that game in Indianapolis with back-to-back picks late in that game. Matt Stafford handed them the game early on Sunday Night Football with picks 26 seconds apart. They've been winning the turnover battle every week. You can't continue to rely on winning the turnover battle. The Chiefs turned the ball over 3 times. The Colts turned the ball over 3 times. The Rams turned the ball over twice. As much as I like the Titans, I did bet the Titans to win this division. The Titans were my dark horse to win the Super Bowl, but they've been in a letdown spot now 3 weeks in a row. They continue to have breaks go their way. That's not going to happen every week. The Saints, of course, lost their starting quarterback. It normally takes time for a team to regroup after they lose their starting quarterback. We saw that last week. For the first 3 quarters, they looked like garbage. They came alive in the fourth quarter, though, scoring 22 points. They almost pulled out the victory. I expect them to have a better game plan and be better prepared for this game. The Saints are 5-0 against the spread, their last 5 off of a loss, and the road team has covered the spread in 4 straight between these 2 teams. I'm taking the points with New Orleans.
That's a darn good pick. And there you have it, guys. He is on the Saints. And I think the line is telling us to play the Saints because Tennessee, I know a lot of people out there are going to possibly make that mistake of thinking that, well, that's a gift at -3. But I like what Jesse had to say there. Good stuff, Jesse. Now we're going to move on to the Iron Condors. I can't help myself, sorry, but it's the Washington football team who needs to have a mascot hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in an NFC conference showdown. Tom Brady is, I don't know what else to say about it. 2,650 yards passing, 25 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? 231 completions on 343 passing. It's just remarkable. They are playing on the road, though, at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. And the betting line is Tampa Bay -9.5, over under 51.5. Take it away, Dr. Chuck, and tell us where the best bet is on this game.
Yeah, Tom Brady, fountain of youth, huh? Yeah, so he in other news, he thinks he can play till 50, which seems like that's probably a very real possibility at this point. But the Bucs, in their defense of the Super Bowl championship here, have looked unbelievable on offense. Tom Brady is playing MVP caliber again, but it's the defense that just is riddled with issues and has looked like it's pretty hard for the Bucs offense to keep up. And I kind of like that spot here where the Washington football team gets them at home. Last time they faced each other was in this same place in the playoffs in that wild card matchup where the Bucs had to go on the road. And that total ended up at 54 when Heineke kind of had his breakout game here. It'll be him versus Brady again. The Buccaneers always get the best of the opposing team. And with the Bucs, you're just going to get a bloated uh, number. I mean, in general, 51 is a pretty big number. It's not as big as it is in college as in the NFL, just because of the defenses tend to fare a little bit better. But I can't imagine that this Washington defense has any ability not to struggle. They were supposed to be one of the top defenses regularly each week in the DVOA rankings. They're at the bottom. Combined right now, they're 22nd, and that's not where we expected this Ron Rivera team to be. Tom Brady is just going to go up and down the field on this team. But I feel pretty confident in that offense for the Washington football team at home to at least get themselves into the 20s. If they're going to get themselves into the 20s, similar to that playoff game, we're going to cruise to this total here. I think this goes up a little bit. If it does go down to 51, which is that really key number, grab that. If it drops below that, definitely do that as well, because this could fluctuate as the week goes on. But I think this should be 54, maybe even 55. And, with a 10-point spread in this spot, I'd be a little bit bullish on that home team. I'm not going to look at the spread as much as I think this is more a 34-27 game than it is a 31-20 game. And so I just really like that over here, and I think that it might go up by the time the weekend hits.
That's good stuff. So we have a play on the over in the Bucs game, and that matchup actually reminds me of that Denver Bronco game against Dallas last week. That was mind blowing. It was either this show or the other show for NFL. I actually went on a limb and said Denver, but again, that was because of the line. The line was just kind of telling you like this isn't quite right. So speaking of Denver. Let's move to Denver, and we're going to focus on those Philadelphia Eagles. And those Philadelphia Eagles are coming off a tough home loss to the San Diego Chargers. What I am seeing, guys, is that their defense is starting to come apart. What was in the first 3 weeks of the game a topic of conversation that, boy, this Eagles defense is outperforming. Based on yards per point now, it is not good. And 15.2 yards per point on defense in road games is now ballooned to 16.9, or basically 17, in the last 3 games. So defense on grass games, we're looking at 14.3, but most of those games occurred in the first 4 games of the season. So I think their defense is starting to come unraveled. The last 3 games, they've allowed a not so good 6.2 yards per play. And I can go on and on. The passing, the last 3 games, 29 for 35 is what the average is. That's 83% completions. Passing yards per attempt, 8. That's not good, is it? It's just not good. And against a team that is known for its defense, I think this actually is a place where the Denver offense is going to have some success finally. And Denver's offense is weak. But against this matchup, I see them scoring some points. Lastly, in the red zone defense scoring, Denver ranks number 2 in opponent TDs per game at an average of 2. The Eagles defense ranks 25th. So you got the second defense in the red zone, 25th in the red zone. Another huge advantage for Denver. The thing that keeps me from going to the window right now is I haven't figured out why it's only -3. And it might be -3.5 now. And that would make me feel better if this line starts going up. But for now, in this show, this would be a 4%er to the premium clients on the Denver Broncos. So there you have it, guys. We have 3 solid picks here. We have the over in the Tampa Bay game. We have Jesse Schule betting on the Saints, which is a pretty good bet there too. That's one of those lines that we just talked about. And then I am on the Denver Broncos this week in a bid to hold serve against the Eagles, who are now 2-6 and really have to question how that locker room is going. But I know our locker room here on the Predictive Playbook is quite solid with great chemistry. Thank you guys for being on the show. Thank you everyone for watching these shows. Make sure you get over to sportsmemo.com and take advantage of the discounted sales. We are professional sports bettors. We don't just throw darts at a board, and more importantly, we actually bet our own money. And some of us like me have been doing it for longer than probably you guys are alive, which is not as embarrassing as I thought that was going to sound. So anyway, for sportsmemo.com, wagertalk.com, and these predictive playbook shows, may all the wins continue to be yours. Thanks for watching, guys.